Yes.
Hello, friends.
This is Andrea Kiwa.
This is Mateo
And
Milan.
this is Emilio.
And here we are, chapter 7 of our book, The 15 Laws of Growth of John C. Maxwell. And we are going to be talking about the law of design. And it's a beautiful thing because we teach that 4D. First, decide. Second, design a plan. And this is what we're talking about. Third, discipline yourself. And then, delight in the process. Okay, so remember, Jim Rohn teaches, if you don't decide what you want in your life, it's very possible that you're going to fall into someone else's design and he or she won't have a lot of good things for you. So go ahead, take a responsibility and take charge of your life. Okay, to maximize your growth, the best thing to do is to develop strategies. We're going to be talking about that. Remember that most people, they allow life just to happen because they wait, they just flow, or they're not proactive. And we want you to be strategic with your life and decide. Okay, this design. Okay, so to do that, we have 4 suggestions, and Mateo is going to take care of that when you plan.
So the first thing, life is simple, but it's not always like that. It's gonna get difficult. You need to design a strategy plan that has personal, repeatable, and transferable growth, because not every plan is gonna work out, and you need those 3 things.
Good. Okay.
Second thing is design your life is more important than your career, because if you design your life really well, then your career will take care of itself. And when you design your career, your life, you get to know yourself and you get to really spend time with yourself and you get to learn about yourself so you can make your life better.
And you create your plan for that according to your values. Okay.
Number 3, life is not a dress rehearsal. At home, we always say, mistakes are welcome as long as they're not repeated. We need to learn from our mistakes because failure is welcome, but we don't like failure when it's repeated. And yeah.
I will add something to that. There's a survey about, they interviewed retired executives, and they were very clear about they would have been more strategic in designing their life, their career, their health especially, because they would have liked to be much more intentional in designing several things in their life and not just running and not being that intentional to be with family, friends, invest more time in personal development, things like that. Fourth, Mateo.
Fourth thing is when planning your growth, multiply everything times 2, because important things take longer. And especially when you're doing personal development like money, time, that it's not times 2, it's times 3, because that's one of the most important things.
Right. We learned from Darren Hardy to invest 10% of your income in your personal development. That's a good measure so you can grow intentionally. Okay. Emilio is going to be talking about
Systems.
How to develop strategies, but depending on systems. So he has 6 points to share.
The way you accomplish something, first off to start, is
Okay.
by strategizing about it. You need to have systems. Some systems that we use, like for me, for homework, I use a system. For personal development, I use a system. For school, I use a system. You can use a system for literally anything.
Right.
But let's get to it. Effective systems take the big picture into account. You need to lift your head up. What do you want to become? Second thing about effective systems, they take priorities. They take into accountability your priorities. Because if you don't want to do something, if it's not your priority, then don't do it. Have someone else do it.
Right.
You need to focus on what you want to do. Third thing, measurements. You have to be able to measure your goals and keep going, but also track yourself of how you're growing. Fourth thing, it's action. You need to take action in your goals, because your system will not work if you don't do anything with it. Like, it's a plan for you, but you also need to go for it. And then it's organization. Effective systems, you need to be organized about it. You can't just be all over the place. And last thing but not least, is consistency. The key to success is in a daily routine. You have to follow it every day, because then you will see what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and then you can grow off of that.
Right. Okay, good. And I will add this. This doesn't come in the chapter, but I've always been a huge fan of Jim Rohn. And he teaches, don't start your day without planning it. And he also goes a step further and he says, don't start your week without planning it. And if you take that, another step would be don't start your month or your year without planning it. The idea, friends, is just to be very intentional. Design your life. Don't let anyone else take control of your life because it's yours.
And one last thing about systems. Systems help ordinary people achieve extraordinary
That's
results.
so good. That is so good. See you guys in the next chapter. Tomorrow is going to be chapter 8. Ready?
Bye, friends.